The last arc showed potential. Maybe the manga is not as bad as the anime. But as I journey through Boruto's manga, arc by arc, chapter by chapter, this arc, the Mujina Bandits, I don't know. Anyway, let's get into it. For those who don't know, maybe this is your first time watching, this is Situation X Review, and I'm going through the Boruto manga for the first time. Now, as I've said before, I am a very deep, passionate Naruto fan. I love Naruto. Naruto was honestly one of my favorite shows growing up. And when Naruto finished, I said, okay, cool. There's a show that's just coming out. Literally the same time Boruto was coming out. I said, you know what, let me watch Boruto. And my days, that show was trash. It was trash. I don't care what anyone tells me. Boruto was trash. The anime was trash. It looked like a kid's show. It didn't look like a serious anime. There was too many hamburgers, consoles. It looked like a joke. And I basically gave up after maybe like 50, 60 episodes. To be honest, I gave up. But people tell me, oh yeah, Boruto's good. I say, how can Boruto be good, bro? How could Boruto be good? Like, Boruto is a bad show. They say, nah, you gotta read the manga. So I'm thinking, maybe I might be wrong. So I started looking into the Reddit. I said, guys, could it be that the Boruto manga is good? I'm seeing, yeah, read the manga, bro, read the manga. So I said, okay, cool. So I've decided I'm gonna go through the manga of Boruto, chapter by chapter, arc by arc, and I'm basically gonna give you guys my thoughts, give you guys my opinions. So this is arc 2, the Mujina Bandits arc. Please like and subscribe. Join the journey as I go through this. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Let me know. Show some love. If you want to see the previous arc, the tuning exams, I'm gonna put that in the link. There's gonna be a playlist in the link. But yeah, let's get into it. So the Mujina Bandits arc, honestly, I don't know what I was expecting, because I've got a timeline, right? And my timeline shows me what are the different arcs, so I can do it arc by arc. And I just saw 5 arcs. And honestly, I was thinking, man, how am I going to make a video on 5 chapters? I meant 5 chapters, by the way. How am I going to make a video on 5 chapters? But when I went through it, I said, I was originally intending on just reading the chapters and reading the next arc and including it. But there was just a bit of things that I said, I might have to make it its own video. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into what actually happened. Alright, so basically the plot of the story that we see is Team 7 were working on a mission to hunt down these bandits, right? There's criminal organization. Their leader has got this ability to take dead bodies, to take the appearance, to take the abilities, and they're just causing a ruckus in Konoha. And Team 7 are trying to hunt them down. Their mission fails, or something happens with Boruto. Boruto doesn't follow the plan. They're not able to track down the bandits. Then we're introduced to the daimyo's son. So the daimyo has a son. This is one thing I love about Naruto, right? Naruto, this is what made Naruto so good. It's not just the fighting. You can have good fighting. There's shows with good fighting. It's the world. The Naruto world is so deep. The Naruto world has nations. So you got the nation, the land of fire, land of wind, land of water. You've got the different nations. Then you got the different villages within those nations. Then there's different structure. You've got the Kages. They're the leader of the hidden village, but they've got a daimyo. That's the lord of the land. Then you got all these little mini villages, and these mini villages, they're also under the same land, the lord of the land, the same daimyo. And then certain villages have got a relation with this one, and this one's got beef. That's why I loved Naruto. The world was so deep, and there was politics. If you guys watch some of the videos on this channel, and if you've not watched them, I'm just gonna let you know now, I love politics in anime. I love it. There's serious politics in Naruto, right? So we're introduced to the daimyo's son, And obviously this guy is, is okay, yeah, he's a brat, he's kind of whatever, arrogant or whatever you might call it. Then he meets Boruto. It's basically, it's basically just a repeat of Naruto and Konohamaru. You see how Naruto was with Konohamaru? That's the same thing with the Boruto and this thing. Like, you see this is why I was surprised that this is an arc. But, I follow the timeline. Because this was basically like an episode. This literally felt like, that one episode, I think it's episode 2 or episode 3, where Naruto meets Konohamaru. That's literally how this arc felt, But it wasn't too bad, it wasn't too bad. And yeah, essentially that is the arc. But at the end, we hear about an organization called Kara. And that's what made it a bit interesting. That's why I said, let me record this before I read the next chapter, so that people could hear how I feel before I know more. But it was, yeah, that's what happened this arc. What went well? I like the reveal at the end. I think it was a very, who's Kara? I don't know. Now, I'm presuming Kara is basically going to be the B-Tech Akatsuki, it's basically going to be Akatsuki 2.0. Naruto loves them hidden organizations. Obviously, they mentioned about how the symbol on Boruto's hand links to Kara. Now, as I've said, I did watch a bit of the anime, which was trash. I watched it, but I didn't go that deep. And what I watched, I do not remember too well, to be honest. I definitely remember watching the tuning exams. I watched a lot of filler. It was like 50, 60 episodes. I don't remember too much about this Kara thing. So Kara looks interesting. I wonder if it's going to be a better Akatsuki or a worse Akatsuki. But yeah. Another thing I kind of like is, again, there was no filler, none of that rubbish, none of that hamburgers, none of that. Like, I genuinely believe the anime set us up, because the anime just felt so childish. Like, the anime had so much garbage, but this one is calm. Like, I don't mind. Listen, I'm not saying everything has to be serious. I don't mind them playing on their consoles or a little bit, or them what was the main thing, collecting the cards. I don't mind that. But in the anime, it felt too much. It just did not feel serious. We were meeting this random kid whose dad is a millionaire, and his whole thing is in computers. And it was just like, what am I watching? But this just gets to the point. So there was no filler again. Now, what didn't go well? Again, this was very short. So I can't complain. But that the Mujina Bandits, like the MC, like, I'll be honest, it felt like filler. Like, I get it, but did this really need to happen? Maybe this is because they want to link it to Kara, but that kind of felt like villain. Like, the Mujina Bandits actually just felt like filler villains, to be honest. But in all honesty, I can't have too many criticisms because it was so short. But that's how I felt, really, if I'm being honest. To summarize, essentially this arc was a setup. I believe it was a setup for the next arc. Is it filler? Not really. You need these type of things to prepare you, but it was okay. Literally, it was just okay. It was okay. If I was to rate it, I'll say it's a 6 out of 10, maybe a 5.5 out of 10. Like, it was not bad. The Mujina Bandits, knockoff bandits, it was not too bad, but it was, it just was, it is what it is, isn't it? Now, the next arc, it's looking interesting, because we're finding about this organization called Kara. Now, if they even move like 50% of how the Akatsuki were moving, we're gonna have something good. If Kara is just 50% as interesting or as entertaining as the Akatsuki, then we got something special. But we're gonna find out. Anyway, listen, this has been Situation X Review. I'm not gonna take your time, I'm not gonna take too long. Be back, subscribe, put the notifications bell on, and yeah, I'll be back.